They liked the balance that they had in race.
Casey Kane, we congratulate him, his third career pole.
It's all three Hendrick Motorsports in the front.
There's a few movers and shakers out there.
To victory lane is Joey Logano.
Get the inside line on who's fast and who's last before setting your NASCAR fantasy race team this weekend. This is the Inside Line on MRN.com, presented by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your fantasy experts, Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett.
Welcome to another Fantasy Friday here on MRN.com as we talk fantasy racing as we do on each and every Inside Line. This is Robbie Mays. I'm Tyler Burnett. We're finally going to go racing, Robbie, as we had a week off last week. And I'm wearing the throwback shirt this week. Obviously, it struggles to fit.
A little snug.
That was a year ago. But we're heading to the Darlington Raceway for STP Throwback Week, and I cannot wait.
I cannot wait, Tyler. This is my home racetrack. I've been waiting for this race weekend for 365 days. I'm excited to be back in Darlington, racing in South Carolina, the Bojangles Southern 500. And if it wasn't for the fact that it's home for me, this is one of the coolest racetracks that we go to all year long. Two different ends of the racetrack, two different lengths, two different bankings. The circumference of the turns, that's a big word, circumference.
Yeah.
Looked that up in the dictionary this morning. Everything about this racetrack is old school. Everything about this racetrack is throwback. And speaking of throwback, a lot of throwback paint schemes this weekend. They're going to be really cool. And all of the throwback paint schemes, you can watch them or see them on MRN.com.
Wait, this is home for you, this racetrack?
Yeah.
So you should probably do well this week in fantasy, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Coming up on the show today, we're looking forward to having Executive Director of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, Winston Kelley, our friend, our lead pit reporter on MRN. He's been with us for a long time. How long has Winston been with us?
Probably longer than you've been alive.
No doubt. He's been here before 1992.
I've got T-shirts that are older than you.
Winston Kelley will be on the show today. He's going to, promote the historic element of Darlington and then help you pick your fantasy teams. We'll also talk to Rango Fowler. I believe he'll have a bit of a throwback today. That's going to be exciting. And then we'll play Sideswipe, and of course I'll probably get hit by a rock because, well, that may not be a throwback tradition, but it's still our tradition on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show.
Well, what would a Friday afternoon on this show be if you did not get hit by a rock?
Right.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. So, we'll do all that as it's coming your way on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP auto expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
It's almost the most refreshing time of the day, Busch O'Clock, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Busch beer. Busch's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going fishing, nothing is better when it's time to relax with a crisp, cold Busch. It's Busch O'Clock, so grab a 6-pack of Busch beer for the cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Busch Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings, plus earn double points on over 250 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yes or no? Stay or go? Let's sideswipe the competition here on the Inside Line.
My favorite game of the week, because I don't get hit by a rock, and that is Sideswipe. Let's play it. Daryl Smith, let Robbie go first because he continues to struggle in fantasy racing.
Bristol, I was 9.5 points behind you.
You still were behind me and Rich.
Shut up, Tyler. What's first?
All right, let's go with Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch at Darlington Raceway. This is his type of racetrack. Well, I take that back. Bristol is his type of racetrack because he won all 3 races when we were there 2 weeks ago. But this racetrack Sunday night has the ability to still, even under the lights, get hot and get slick. You have to have a lot of car control to be able to run well at Darlington and to be able to win at Darlington. Kyle Busch did it back in 2008. I think he's got a chance to win again Sunday night. He might not be my winner, but I still think he is going to be a good pick. Laps led is going to be your friend this week. 367 laps in Sunday night's Bojangles Southern 500. A lot of points on the line for right there. That made my team last week at Bristol. So I'm going to swipe right on Kyle Busch.
I agree.
And I'm still mad I have to look at the sign because I still don't know which way to go on this.
Yeah, I agree with you on Kyle Busch. He has stayed on my team for a while now. I'm keeping him on my team not only because I think he's going to be good at Darlington. I think he's probably a top 5 car this weekend, maybe a top 3 car. But I think he has a chance to lead every single lap at Richmond. So I'm keeping him for Richmond.
Yeah.
And for that reason.
Well, at Darlington, he has 5 top 10s at Darlington. His worst finish in the last 7 races is 11.
All right. And he led 169 laps in that 2008 Darlington win. All right. Who is my pick?
Let's go with Joey Logano.
Joey Logano. This one is pretty simple to me. I'm going to swipe no on Joey Logano, and I'll tell you why. Logano's speed and their race cars right now are way down. In fact, they are somewhere around 10th to 15th, in my opinion, in speed at mile-and-a-half racetracks. It's going to take a massive Hail Mary for that team to win this weekend. Though we have seen it in the past. I mean, we have seen fuel mileage races at Darlington. We have seen, pit strategy calls. Todd Gordon, his crew chief, is one of the best at fuel mileage strategy and, at making a decision on the fly like that. So you never know. They could win a race. I think for fantasy purposes, leading laps, staying up front, passing race cars, I think Joey Logano, I'm not going to start him this weekend, so I'm swiping no on Joey Logano.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. 117 points outside of the bubble. Obviously, he has to win to make the playoffs, but he has finished top 5 at Darlington his last 2 starts there, including 4th in 2015. In his last 15 races, he has 10 finishes of 20th or worse.
Do you debate, it's probably for next week, but do you debate starting him at Richmond since he won the race the last time we were there?
I would have started him at probably 5 of the last 6 races, and he still wouldn't have gotten me those points. So yeah, I would say no.
I guess.
All right, what's next?
All right, tell me what you think of Martin Truex Jr.
Martin Truex Jr. This is pretty simple. I'm swiping right on Martin Truex Jr. He won this race last year. That team's confident right now, and even though they didn't win at Bristol, which I thought they were going to have an opportunity to. He's won, 4 races this year?
Yeah.
Martin Truex Jr. right now, this is the time last year when he got hot. Starting with Darlington last year, he won 3 of 5 races. So I think this team is poised to be able to do that once again. They've got nothing to lose Sunday night except for going out to win more stages and get more playoff points. So I'm swiping right on Martin Truex Jr. I think he's got a chance to win Sunday.
Look, this racetrack is about as close as you can get to a mile-and-a-half racetrack. It's 1.366 miles?
Yes.
Something like that. It's a very, very different racetrack. There's no doubt about it. But if you go back to his mile-and-a-half numbers this year, they are by far the best. I mean, he won at Kentucky the last time we were at a mile-and-a-half. He was 3rd at Charlotte. He won at Kansas. He won at Las Vegas. Martin Truex Jr., if he's not on your team this weekend, I'm going to say it now, you're going to lose. He has to be on your team this weekend. However, last year when he won this race, he did not lead very many laps. He only led 28 laps. That's because Kevin Harvick led, 214 laps last year. So I think Truex has the potential to lead a ton of laps this week. I think he has the potential to win the race. All right, my second pick.
All right, let's slide down the standings a little bit and do Chase Elliott.
I was kind of hoping for this one. If you all remember when he made his first Xfinity Series start, which was actually my first race ever. We go back to a throwback here. The first race I ever had at MRN. Chase Elliott put a whooping on him at Darlington in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race, beating Kevin Harvick. I guess, what was it then? The NASCAR Nationwide Series, when he won that championship. But Chase Elliott has impressed me at Darlington. I think if they have the speed in practice, I would definitely think about Chase Elliott. I think he's slightly on the expensive side. I think Ryan Blaney's probably a better pick at his price because Ryan Blaney's cheaper. I think Eric Jones is probably a better price than Chase Elliott, and I think both of those cars are running better than Chase right now. If he impresses me with a top 5 speeds in practice, I will swipe right on Chase Elliott. If not, I'm not going to start him. So I guess I swiped right on Chase Elliott if he shows speed.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. 10th last year. What's next?
All right, Robbie Mays, give me your opinion on Jamie McMurray.
Jamie McMurray. He's running a cool paint scheme. It's the David Pearson.
So start him. He has a cool scheme.
Yeah, I like that number. It's the Haas Ellington number from the 1980s. But at Darlington, I don't know about Jamie McMurray. I think he has the ability to run top 10, but I don't think he's going to have the ability to lead many laps. I don't think he's going to have the ability to finish in the top 5, and I don't think he's going to have the ability to win. If you've got a league where it's a limited number of picks, I still don't think Jamie McMurray is a good choice this weekend. So I'm swiping no on Jamie McMurray this weekend.
Started 13th last year, finished 15th. I think that's probably the right decision as well.
Okay.
All right, my final one.
All right, let's go with Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon, just pure speed in the race car. I think we had an RCR pick last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever in side swipe. I'm going to swipe no on Austin Dillon. He, however, was all right last year at Darlington. He finished 12th. He started 12th. I just don't think RCR has the speed at mile-and-a-half racetracks right now. Well, I guess it's mile and .366. I'm just going to call it a mile-and-a-half racetrack from now on. I don't think they have the speed to win at Darlington. I think they could be a top 15 car. I think they could be a top 10 car potentially, but I don't think Austin Dillon has a chance to win this weekend's race.
I would agree. Only one top 10 finish in the last 12 races. He does have the win at Charlotte, so he's in the playoffs. But he's only got 3 top 10s this year. Last year at this point, he had 10 top 10s. So while he does have the win, they're just not good right now.
Looking at must starts, Kevin Harvick, is he yes or no a must start this weekend?
Based on the number of laps he's led the last couple of years in this race, yes.
All right. He's great at Darlington, finished 2nd last year. His worst finish in the last 4 races at Darlington is 5th.
Yes.
I personally believe, and he is going to be on my team and potentially might be, I might just give away my teaser of a winner at the end of the show. I think Kyle Larson is a must start this weekend. He is unbelievable at the top of the racetrack. He's made a living racing near the fence at pretty much every racetrack we go to. 8th, 10th, and then 3rd last year in starts at Darlington. He was he's been so good at mile-and-a-half racetracks. And he was 3rd last year, Robbie, at a track that, of course, is probably one of his best. But they did not have near as much speed last year as they do this year.
No.
And he's going back to a track where he could potentially win.
Well, coming off Michigan last year, it was the race before Darlington. He had won, so he had a lot of confidence going to Darlington. I'm also going to say Denny Hamlin is a must-start this weekend.
He intrigues me as well.
Top 5 in 4 of the last 5 races at Darlington. Led a bunch of laps over the last 10 years, so I think Denny Hamlin is also a must-start.
All right, let's play the emoji game, Daryl Smith. What do we got to do? Oh, our first emoji is a angel, a little angelic. What do you got, Robbie?
Angel at Darlington, Matt Kenseth.
Why?
Because I don't know. So, I think when we go to Darlington, he's kind of like Pearson. It kind of just hangs back there and then gets up there and gets the win at the end of the race. So I think he's a little angelic at times, a little unaggressive at times for a track like Darlington. I think Matt Kenseth.
I like that. All right. I'm going to take Kyle Larson just because, like I said, he's going to be you wouldn't even be able to put this paper between his race car and the wall this weekend. And I think he's just going to be up there with the Angels at the high side of the racetrack.
Okay.
Who's our next emoji? Oh, and then we got a devil.
The devil. Okay.
Oh. That's you go first.
No, you go first. I went first last time.
All right. Who is going to be? All right. I'm going to say. Man, it's gonna take a Hail Mary by Joey Logano. So let's just say with Logano and the 22 team, I think they're going to need to use some of their powers to win this race this weekend if they're going to have any chance to get in the playoffs.
I'm going to stick with the Team Penske bandwagon there. I'll say Brad Keselowski because he has the ability to go down there and just destroy the competition.
All right, there we go. Winston Kelley is after the break. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice, Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
O'Reilly.
Need auto parts? Get them with a click at the new O'ReillyAuto.com. Shop online and we'll ship the order to your home, or you can pick it up for free at the O'Reilly Auto Parts store nearest you. The choice is yours. Shop the way that's convenient for you and get the exact parts you need to get the job done right. O'ReillyAuto.com. Parts for your car wherever you are.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Race fans, visit Camping World of Concord for convenient one-stop shopping on outdoor accessories, top brand RVs, and quality service. Buy an RV and enroll in the Good Sam Elite loyalty program, offering incentives valued at over $2,000. Browse over 10,000 Camping World products and accessories in America's largest RV dealer network. Plus, shop the top manufacturers such as Coleman, Keystone, Newmar, Thor Motor Coach, Winnebago, and many more. America's #1 RV dealer has something for everyone. Visit Camping World of Concord today. See dealer for full details and disclaimers.
Let's talk more fantasy racing on the Inside Line. Here's Robbie and Tyler.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show, presented by Hercules Tires. We're going to Darlington this weekend, and of course, it's STP Throwback Week, so we welcome in the Executive Director of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. He's also the lead pit reporter for MRN, Winston Kelley. Winston, how are you?
I'm doing great. I always look forward to this weekend. Right up there with induction week. It's one of the favorites that I have every year. So looking forward to going to the track. Too tough to tame, as they say.
It has to be one of the biggest weekends for you guys, as far as, you know, all of your Hall of Famers. Well, not all of them, but most of them will go to Darlington and celebrate. Do you guys have a big week in store for the Hall of Fame and what you guys are going to do to promote it?
Yeah, we'll have the Hall of Famers down at Darlington, and just like the Charlotte race, Martinsville, Bristol, Darlington being so close to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, we have a lot of folks that come in and see the Hall of Fame because it's so close to the race that they're going to. We've got a special members-only package for Sunday's race for the Bojangles Southern 500 that has been sold out for a long time, that many of our members are going to go down, special hospitality area, get to go into the infield garage tours and have special seating. So we're excited about that. And then, of course, we'll have between 15 and 20 of the NASCAR Hall of Famers there for a special Bojangles Southern 500 breakfast on Sunday, but also other activities throughout the week, including the parade, being a part of the Xfinity race at the Fanatics tent. So a lot of Hall of Famers will be there. Had a press conference yesterday. We've got another one today that not tied into the race, but Jeff Gordon is giving away a Corvette here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and of course he is a future Hall of Famer. So very busy week for us.
Yeah, no question.
You guys just announced, or Darlington announced yesterday, that 4 of the 5 inductees for 2018 are going to give the command Sunday night to get the Bojangles Southern 500 underway. Winston, Darlington, if it wasn't even for the throwback, you know, even when this race was still, you know, Mother's Day weekend, we ran it in April one weekend, Darlington is still Darlington. What's your favorite thing about going to Darlington? Is the racetrack, the atmosphere, the location? What's Winston Kelley's #1 thing about Darlington Raceway?
All of those are there, but it just feels like old school racing. And y'all go ahead and throw in the old jokes about me, but it's what I grew up on, the Darlingtons, the Rockinghams, the North Wilkesboros, and places like that. It still feels like that. It's a driver's racetrack. And, you know, they really have to hustle the race car. They say drive the track, but they got to hustle the race car. And we've had so many exciting finishes there and wins, like Ricky Craven's, and we've got that car here in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, the closest in NASCAR history. Terry Labonte winning what was then the last Southern 500 on Labor Day weekend back in, I believe it was 2003. And last year's win with Martin Truex Jr. Just so many exciting special week races that we've had there. But just the feel of the place, that it felt like it was throwback before it was officially called the Throwback Weekend.
Yeah, no question. And I'll be first to admit that I usually do drop the old jokes, but then I get countered with a fat joke. No, but I do appreciate the history of the sport, and I love going to Darlington. I was just mentioning in the last segment, my first ever NASCAR race just happened to be at Darlington 3 years ago when I came to work for MRN. So that's pretty cool, and that will always be there. Let's talk about fantasy racing this weekend. Obviously, the whole throwback element is so cool. But what happens on the racetrack is really, you know, the most important, especially for people who are picking their fantasy team this week. And then, of course, the playoff picture happening here in the next couple weeks. Winston, who do you like going to Darlington this weekend? Obviously, there's some top picks in our minds, but who do you like this weekend going to Darlington?
Well, there's been an old saying going back to when I started in this sport 100 years ago that the fast cars tend to be fast every weekend. And we're going to be talking about some of the same guys. Kevin Harvick runs well here, runs this racetrack well, has run there, has been fast all year. Kyle Larson loves the high line. He's been fast all year. Martin Truex Jr. wasn't one of his best tracks until recently, the winter last year when we were in Darlington. So I think you got to put those at the top of the list. Kyle Busch runs the track well, has not won but one time in what's now the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, but he's got consistent top 10 finishes. If you go back to 2009, since 2010, his worst finish, a couple of 11ths, and he's been running extremely well. So you got to look at those four when you're looking at who are the guys to beat to win the race. Then fantasy racing gets into a whole nother thing, whether it's allocation in Yahoo or how much it costs in the NASCAR.com account of who you're going to pick to try to balance out who you're putting in there.
Right.
You know, Winston, we don't see a lot of surprises at Darlington. If you look through the history book, a lot of champions, a lot of multi-time winners. I guess the most recent upset winner the last few years probably was Regan Smith back in 2011. Maybe talk about some guys who we wouldn't expect to see up front, but may find their way there at the end of 500 miles Sunday night.
Not for the win, but if you look at guys who have had some decent runs, you know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has run there, run very well there. Austin Dillon has run well there. So I think they may be some good sleeper picks. Another one, again, I'm not picking him to win, but a guy who's been in the top 10 pretty regularly. If you go back to the past 6 or 8 races, only one outside of the top 20. Ryan Newman tends to finish very well at that racetrack. So I think those are some guys that I think will be up front. And then you got to look at those guys on the bubble. Matt Kenseth has won here in the past, has a number of top 10 finishes. If you look back over the past 5 races, had one bad finish, the rest of them all top 6 finishes. So I think, and he ran very well last weekend at Bristol. You need to look at him to be up front as well. And, I heard you guys talking about Joey Logano. That's a head scratcher for me.
Yeah, it is.
I'm a big Todd Gordon fan. I think he does a great job. Joey gets up on the wheel. They just have not had it. And I just don't see them pulling one out. I could be wrong, but I just don't know if I see them pulling one out because they've got to win one of these next 2 races.
Yeah. Before we let you go, Winston, put you on the spot with 2 things. First off, who do you think wins this race this weekend? And secondly, do you remember your first Darlington race ever, whether it be a kid or whether you're working, and who won that race?
I don't know that I remember my first one because I went with my dad when he was doing some broadcasts back in the 1970s. But the one that I probably remember, the 2 that I remember the most, is when David Pearson won his 105th race down there in the Hawaiian Tropic car, and then I was also there when Terry Labonte won his first race back in 1980. And I actually remember where I was standing outside of what was then turn 2, going into turn 1, now going into turn 3 toward the end of the race. So I remember those very vividly, and I remember going in 1979 when Richard and Darrell went back-to-back in the last 3 laps, went with some college friends. So I remember those the most. If I had to pick one, it's got to come from one of those 4 guys that I mentioned, and because of how well he's run on the high line, I'm going to go with Kyle Larson to win over Martin Truex Jr., and I think they're both great picks.
I think you took my pick. Wait, you were in college in 1979?
Yes, I was.
I'm just kidding. You can counter with a fat joke now if you want.
You just hope to be able to be talking at my age. At the rate you're going now, I don't think it's going to happen.
He needs to get on the Robbie Mace plan.
Oh, man. Winston, thanks so much for joining us. I can't wait for this weekend.
Always a pleasure, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Winston Kelley, the executive director of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, one of our great friends here on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. Always love having fun with him. It's a big weekend for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Make sure you get down there at some point. They do so many things for the sport, and it's going to be a great weekend for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, we'll come back. We'll play, what are we playing, Under the Rock?
Under the Rock, Rango, all that
Rango
stuff.
Fowler, all that kind of stuff.
We'll have our own throwback paint scheme, too.
STP throwback. That's all coming your way on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP auto expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
Today Toyota's featured NASCAR fan is Dr. Tom Pierce.
So, Dr. Tom, what's your claim to fame?
Well, due to all of Toyota's NASCAR wins last year, I wrote thousands of doctor's notes for fans for overexcitement hypertension, a condition that requires a day off work to rest.
Sounds like a responsible doctor.
Doctor? I'm not a real doctor, bro. Would a doctor get a guy off work for overexcitement about the new Camry? Because I did.
Let's go NASCAR fans.
Toyota, let's go places. To learn more, visit toyotaracing.com. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
It's almost Busch o'clock. A time for relaxing and unwinding with a crisp, cold Busch beer. It's the most refreshing time of the day. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Busch. Crisp, cold Busch. Enjoy responsibly. Busch Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Now, back to the Inside Lines dynamic duo. Here's Fat Man and Robbie.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. We're getting ready for Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series practice at the Darlington Raceway.
Yeah, buddy.
You ready?
1 p.m.
You ready?
I'm ready for practice, yes.
You ready
is
to
that
get
what
hit by a
asking?
rock? Under a rock or Tyler?
Do you live your life up under a rock? Or are you Tyler Burnett?
All right, so this week it's a photo of an actor.
Is it old? Like throwback old?
No.
No?
No, you should be able to get this, no problem.
What?
I need the actor's name or a character he has played. So Donald, Darrell, let's cue it up. Let's play Under a Rock or Tyler. If you don't get this, I'm literally going to slap you in the face.
Yeah, I know. He was he played in Star Wars.
I need the character or the actor's name or a character he has played.
Was he Han Solo? Yes! Yes! Wow. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, you should be happy. I mean, you're such
Harrison
a Star
Ford.
Wars freak that you should be happy you got it right.
You know what? Throw the rock anyway.
What? No, no. Wow.
Rango. Ow.
Oh, Rango.
All right,
He has
so-
been smoking Robbie.
So we teased this earlier. We have a throwback paint scheme for Rango Fowler. All right, bring it down, Craig.
Wow, I've never seen Rango move so slow in my life.
Well,
throwback paint scheme.
He's still an egg.
So did the chicken come before the egg?
So Rango's throwback paint scheme is he's an egg.
What, are we gonna have a glitter bomb here?
I hope not.
While we're doing this, I guess since we're a little low on time, what's who's your pick to win, Robbie?
Oh, we're doing this now?
Sure.
I'm gonna delay as much as I can until you read
Denny
this paper.
Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, Matt D. Burrito, and Ryan Blaney. I like that team, actually. Hamlin, Larson. I think you're making a big mistake if you don't have Truex and Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
But he has Kyle Busch as his winner, so maybe he makes up for it there.
Okay.
He picks Toyota as his manufacturer. All right, so Winston picked Larson.
Yep.
Rango picked the 18 of Kyle Busch. Who do you got?
I pick Brad Keselowski. Team Penske Roger Penske has not won a Darlington since 1975 with Bobby Allison in the Matador. So how cool would it be for Brad to win in the midnight paint scheme on Sunday night? I'm going 2.
I think it'd be cool. He started on the pole last year, I think.
2 years ago.
Or 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right? What did he do? He didn't win the race, did he?
He finished in the top 5. He led a bunch of laps.
All right. Well, I guess since Winston picked Kyle Larson and no one has picked this guy yet, back-to-back wins for Martin Truex Jr.
Very good.
I'm taking Martin Truex Jr. All right, our STP Throwback Week. We need to throw this up now. We have a throwback edition STP is sponsoring this throwback week. Robbie, we have a picture or something, don't we, of our first ever TV show?
We do. So, Donald, if you can cue that up real quick, this is our throwback paint scheme for the week. And I'm almost a little embarrassed for this.
Let's see what it looks like. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
You got stung by a bee.
Who was that guy?
I like the sunglasses on the
We've
head.
done the opposite.
Practice coming up at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and then, of course, final practice at 3:30 today. Tomorrow, 1:30 p.m., qualifying. 3 o'clock is the Xfinity Series race, and then, of course, you can listen to the truck race on 2 o'clock on Sunday, and then the Southern 500 on Sunday at 5. We'll talk to you next week. Where are we going?
Richmond. Playoffs.
Richmond. Our last race before the playoffs. We'll see who wins it. We'll talk to you next week as we head to Richmond.
You've been listening to The Inside Line, presented by Hercules Tires. Stream us every Friday on MRN.com or the MRN app. The Inside Line is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, or download it through iTunes or Google Play. The Inside Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.